Safes are very uptight boxes. A room like this would definitely only increase my level of panic. I mean, come on, does this not look just like a room you die in? Very straight stairs. Do enjoy looking... Okay. The wood planks along with the instincts that keep me alive say not to go in there. But all the rest of my instincts say go for it. Why not? Or question whether or not I am indeed a chicken. Personally, I'd like the chance to prove I am not a chicken. Understandable. Birds that cannot fly are unarguably food for other things. Well, I'm gonna have to pull some planks off it if I'm gonna act like I'm going in there. It is pitch dark in there. It's the kind of dark that requires you to just repeat, I'm okay, to yourself the entire time. The wood planks along with the instincts that keep me alive say not to go in there. Locked. This box is going out of its way to make opening it difficult. What do you need to open it? A key, a combo, 4 specific crystal gems? Too soon, ma'am. I almost died trying to get those gems. No, I know. You stopped breathing for a few seconds. When I came to, I couldn't see the color purple anymore. Also, it's a combination lock. Here, I'll give it a go. There's only a little more than 9,900 possible combinations left to try. Alrighty. Well, that's not gonna... Hold on. $0814? I'm thinking 0814. $9,899 possible combinations left to try. Wow, what? It just worked. The date on the paper was somehow the combination. What? Why? No idea. I usually hate everything in myself by the time we get a safe open. Well, what is inside of it? I assume it is at least empty. Dude. It's a floppy disk with, I think, an adventure game on it. Why would it be locked in a safe under a pub in a bomb shelter? Because it's an adventure game? Duh. What's up with this boarded up doorway? Alright. Let's go up here. Let's leave. And let's go talk to the barkeep. Oh, hey Tara. Hey babe. You know, is anything strange going on lately? Constantly. I work in a bar on Earth. Well, not so much alive strange, but like dead strange? You mean paranormal? Probably. Do you ever notice that most bars claim to be haunted? I don't go to many bars. I'm more of a hydrator than a drinker. Besides, whenever I get invited somewhere, it's because someone thinks the place is haunted. Well then, how often is it actually haunted? Enough to keep me in business, maybe. Well, it strikes me that anytime somebody doesn't understand an experience, they're quick to attribute it to the supernatural. It's a kind of claim that requires no further investigation on their part. I'm a big maker of those claims. Fine. I say do the research and look into the history of the building. You might end up finding cause for the heaps of structural integrity issues it has, issues that lead to uneven and shifting surfaces. Or you can say a ghost squirrel did it. So I dig it you're not team ghost squirrel? Whether in life or death, Mickey has always been obsessed with his pet squirrel. And when he first started suggesting Little Ruckus was still hanging around here, everyone thought it was cute. But as time went on, it became less playful, a little weird, and eventually you couldn't drop a glass without insisting it was Ruckus. I care about Mickey, so I do worry that after the bottles falling last night, he might not ever come back. The part about a structure's integrity, is that true? Actually, yeah, I did some research on the old buildings in Elderbury. Fell into a deep rabbit hole. What do you find deep in this rabbit's hole? 2 things. One, the Museum of Illusions building has absolutely no records attached to it. It was built perfectly over a magnetic anomaly. And 2, considering what's under this building, it's a wonder that it's still standing at all. So what's the short story long? Well, going way back, this plot of land was the first big church in the village. The church had catacombs under it, and They weren't trivial either. Their design was inspired by the Odessa catacombs. I'm not sure, but I suspect the catacombs predate even the church. Pretty intense, right? No, yeah, that's crazy. Eventually, as the village grew into a town, they needed a bigger church, so this building was repurposed as the town's library. So this building was a bookhouse? It was until it fell on hard times. That's when an entrepreneur, Forrest's grandfather actually, bought it and turned it into a public house. Which is this building as we know it today. Awesome. I mean, that's generous, but okay, useful. That's useful. Also, when did the pub first open its doors? Turn of the century. I think it opened in 1901, give or take. I have a good side tracking. Can you give me a quick 101 on what you learned about the museum? Sure, but what's most fascinating is how little I was able to learn about the museum, considering how much I dug. While there isn't a single official record belonging to it, it has been there for as far back as any external records can reflect. That makes its architecture a complete phenomenon. But just a little more on. Well, it's constructed with these giant solid slabs of leather granite, a unique type not found in Colorado, mind you, and so that begs dozens of logistical questions. Then it perfectly covers a local magnetic anomaly. It aligns so seamlessly, it's hard to believe it wasn't done on purpose. Yeah, it couldn't have been on purpose without modern technology. Then there's the matter of the faultless 90-degree. I'm going to go ahead and want you to stop there. This is all like overwriting the stuff I need to know about tonight's case, so that's fair. You're trying to work on a case, and I got carried away. Yeah, no, and I asked for more, and it's great. I would have loved to have heard all this literally yesterday, but yeah, I gotta tap out. I might be back to do a question session with you later. I got you. Oh no, I don't billiard. Not anymore. You poked an old woman's eye a half out once by accident. Yeah, but by then I had already lost the $20 anyway. Oh no. It looks like he brings his own bowling ball. Dad noise number 137 indicates bothered. Disregard. Okay. What the hell? What is this? Ah, there it is, the old acorn disbursement system. So this is what an ads looks like. That's it. You see, first I'd go get some fresh acorns from the old oak tree, load it up with them. Once the nuts were in it, I'd just pull the belt around the lever to reset it. Okay, great. Can I have your belt then? No, the drive belt. Oh, it's gone. A drive belt wrapped around the propeller, through the spools, then over the lever. Ruckus would spin the propeller and, well, no matter now. But once I set it out, Ruckus knew what to do, I'll tell you that. Are you aware of the underground room or shelter or whatever? It's under your office. Yeah, I think it's an old panic room. A panic room? Is that like somewhere you go if you want some anxiety? No, it's where you go in a panic, not to become panicked. It's supposed to be a safe place to hide in a catastrophe. I don't know much about it. I went down there twice. Once to see it, and a second time to clean it. I do know that this building has stood since before the First World War, so I imagine it was put there as a precaution. Ugh, war, yuck. Yeah, and I don't know the full story. If you need it, ask Tara. She's the curious one. Hey, you. Would you mind sharing some details on the paranormal activity you've witnessed? Mostly just been a gut feeling. A presence. But sometimes I'll hear bizarre noises coming from the bar here. Which doesn't make sense because this pub doesn't have a basement. Anyway, last night for the first time I finally saw something tangible. I love oranges. What did you see? I was alone in the pub. The door's locked when I heard a bottle behind me slide a bit. Turned to look, and with my own two eyes, I saw two bottles fall off the shelf and shatter on the ground. I jumped at the chance to call you out. I knew if I'm to restore faith in my patrons that evidence has to come from someone else, someone reputable. If I had called you sooner, just on my gut feelings, it would have only made me look more crazy. How long have you felt Ruckus's presence for? Ever since he passed, a couple of months now. How did Ruckus pass? I'm sorry for having to ask this, but it often helps with the case. How did Ruckus die? I understand. Ruckus was very old for a squirrel. In fact, he was with me for 11 of the best years of my life. So we both knew the time was close, but the way he died, it was worse than I could have imagined. He died. Alone. Waiting for me. Each night after closing, I would set out his feeding contraption. Just something silly I made for him. He would operate it, gather the acorns, and come sit on my lap. He would eat his nuts while I enjoyed a bowl of cereal, and together we would watch the sunrise. Nice cereal is tight. Oh, Winifred. She snuggled in her bed. Night he passed, there had been a fight in the pub. I was here late, giving a report to the police, and I didn't get a chance to set his contraption out for him yet. By the time the police left, the sun was already rising. I rushed to our spot because we never missed a sunrise together. But when I called him over to me, he didn't come. So I ran back inside and found him collapsed on the floor where the contraption should have been. I scooped him up into my arms and sang, "You are my sunshine," to him, how he likes, but he was already gone. Sniffles, but only because of allergies. He sounded like a really good little guy. I wish I had gotten a chance to meet him. What can you tell me about this charming, if not for the people, pub? She's got good bones, this one. My grandpappy built this with some of his own hand. Some 90 years ago. Some of his own hand. Interesting phrase. He ran the place for 30 years, keeping bellies full and cheeks rosy. That was until one autumnal day when he walked in here for work and never walked out. Sadly and curiously, he was never seen again. His skis jacket, even his till, was still here in the pub. It was as if he vanished. A shame for my folks. There was a big old life insurance policy left for them, but they never could prove his death. Anyway, my father then ran it for 40 years and handed it off to my brother, who politely declined to take over the business. And he handed it off to me as obviously his second favorite son. Let's go outside. See what we can see. An absolutely nefarious looking squirrel. Whoa, look at the big words on Oliver! Thanks, I figured it was time to take that one out for a test drive. Similar to a barn light, but it lacks a stem. Regardless, a welcome addition to any lighting collection. On one hand, why not make it a home, and on the other hand, what a terrible place to live. I wonder if the people who built this realize how crazy similar these two windows ended up looking. I think that's the barkeep's bedroom. I don't know. I don't want to know. I don't want my brain to erase more basic math solutions to make room for that information. That dodgy squirrel. I don't know if this explains the giant squirrel or the giant squirrel explains this. These mushrooms have been thrown up on. So this street lamp, or lamplight, is modeled to look like the original gas lights first installed in London in the early 19th century. Now, something that gets lost in recollection of these lights is that the illumination from early gas street lamps was only that of a modern 25-watt bulb. What's both interesting and gross is that the distance between street lamps contained such utter darkness that they were often a hotspot for bodily fluids and debauchery. I actually lost my virginity between street lamps during a new moon. I arguably lost both of my virginities that night. Oh God. Arguably, pine, cedar, and other holiday-looking trees. This is what happens when a tree grows up and gets a corporate job. It's the same bastard stars from the farm. I know it. What do we got over here? These are by far the most well-dressed nuts I've ever seen. I mean, look at them. They have little stylish little hats and they are killing it in those autumn colors. Okay, yeah, I want them. I had to learn a bunch of oak tree facts for a case, and now you're going to have to hear them. Come on, I learned them with you. Oak trees commonly live for centuries, and the oldest known oak is 1,500 years old and resides in somewhere in Louisiana. Oaks produce about 10 million acorns in its lifetime, and only 1 in every 10,000 acorns becomes an oak tree. Acorns are not a fruit, rather they are actually a fruit. Or not a nut, rather they are actually a fruit. Oak wood is used for wine casks, Viking ships, and drum kits, just to name a few. Oak spelled backwards is KO. Oak trees like to get high. Oak trees are notoriously selfish lovers. Oak trees don't produce shadows. Oliver. Okay, I might have run out of facts a while ago. Okay. I had to learn, but okay. I'm going to take these nuts. Got some sidewalk nuts. Acorns, maybe. The way you just said that makes me think you do not know how to spell acorns. Okay. We need to combine. Okay, the nuts are in the box. I gotta put a drive belt on this and then it'll be rebuilt. Oh shit. I'm an idiot. What's going on here? You know, that barkeep really showed me up back there. I can't wait to hear how. He is flaunting his billycock as if he is the only one who can wear one. So many questions. I just cannot believe he thinks he can pull off the look. Caddy Engelbert is my favorite Engelbert. Who's Billy and how is the barkeep flaunting his derby? That's also a word I've heard before, yes? His bowler hat. That is my signature look. Oh my god, you are so cute. You're actually being competitive because he's wearing the same hat as you. Hardly a competition. Nary, I'd go as far to say it's a nary a competition. I'm sure you could force it for the occasion. Thank you. Oh my god. He's mad because he's wearing the same hat. Okay. We need to go in the kitchen again, but before we do that, we're going to go back down here. I do not know what is beyond the door, but Oliver is going to love it. We can't go in there? There's growing inexplicable mold without my moisture. Oh no. Okay, well. Okay, he won't go in there. So we won't either. Okay. We will go in here. There we go. My sister used to date a guy whose dad invented the exit sign. You do not have a sister. Oh yeah. Blenders are big angry cups. It's true. Yeah. Lost $5 in some of my manhood trying to open that jar. That's right. The jar here and myself were previously acquainted. Must be mature about this. It's can filled with wet pickled okra. Yum. It's Melba sauce. Prepare it to Lawrence. Put some brie inside pastry dough. Bake it and pour Melba over it. It'll make your mouth feel like a pampered clitoris. Okay. It's a box of pre-moistened spaghetti. I wonder if the factory is haunted. Did you hear that, Pickles? I said I wonder if the factory is occupied. It's because the pasta is already... Wait, did I say occupied or haunted? Doesn't matter, I read that wrong anyway. It says we rejoice in spaghetti, not pre-moistened spaghetti. Hard to tell with the other box in front of it. Some sort of cereal, I think. Yeah, but the yellow box, that was so slightly in the way. Took the box of spaghetti because, well, something on this shelf was getting got. Actually, I'm going to pass on the cereal. I'm in more of a salty mood than a sweet one. So from that poor hippopotamus keeper when we worked the haunted hippo case, I know. I had that hippo's pinky toenails lodged in my thigh for 3 winters. Seasons changed. Anyway, the first part is true. I do have one at home. Okay. Hot box. You put food in here until the bacteria is all gone, and then you eat it. Right cabinet is grumpy one of the 3 cabinets. But it's not its fault. The oven is right next to it, so it's always hot and cranky. Of the 3 cabinets, this one is the business cabinet. Like when you're ready to stop dicking around, come see the middle cabinet. Now what I like about the farmost left cabinet is that it's very much its own cabinet. It's like, hey, I'm the leftmost cabinet. Deal with it. Last time I used a knife on a case, I cut some of my fingerprint off. I had to make the ghost of Peach Cobbler to get paid. Every glass of water from one of these comes with a little bit of dinosaur pee in it. Or your money back. I can see the head of a fish pressed up against the bag in there. Realizing now that fish eyes were kind of designed to make them look dead. Stuffed up against the bag. It's not like better food is going to magically appear in the fridge if I keep looking. That's fair. It's a bug zapper, an unfortunate part of a lot of kitchens in the west and the south. Maybe even the north and east, too. Maybe the north and east and not the south, I don't know. The point is, the UV light gives bugs like warm hugs, and then they don't bother anyone no more. Shockingly, accidentally, and eventually accurate. Alright, okay. What else we got? Okay. Let's leave that. Yo, sup. Let's get down to spooky business. Have you seen or heard anything weird, anything possibly paranormal going on here? The only weird thing I've noticed is old barkeep over there has lost his marbles. Like in a map? Okay. Yeah, we already know all this. What the hell is Michael? Okay.